So never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd be sitting in front of this camera and talking about a new chapter of Death Note in 2020. Well, here we are, and the way I'm feeling right now is exactly the way I felt when the announcement of D. Greyman Hollow. Despite how you feel about how it was handled in the anime, the fact of the matter is it was a long time before we got any type of continuation with D. Greyman. So when that came back, I was hyped. I was hooked. Same thing here, although in this case it's a one shot, but it is amazing that after all these years we're here with Death Note. And regardless if you watched the anime or you read the manga, the fact of the matter is Death Note is a masterpiece. I will go so far, I think it's fair to say it will be in the top 5 of most animes of all time for most anime fans. The ending was so perfect, but there was still that question of what if there was something extra, and here we got something extra. Similar, familiar characters that we got in the old Death Note brought into this chapter, so I was cool to see that. Waiting and not knowing we was going to get a Death Note. If you don't know, Sugumi Oba is the one behind the Death Note, the masterpiece that is Death Note story. Tokushi Obata is the one in charge of the art, and here we are. They created a masterpiece, like flat out. It's already trending online on Twitter. I think it was Ryuk that was #1 trending not just long ago. I saw that, but I wanted to check out this chapter. Spoiler warning, if you have not read the chapter, I will leave a link to the chapter in the description box below. It is out in English, finally. That was what I was waiting for. So it's a great way to kick off a new month in February with Death Note. There's only a few things like that's been keeping us happy. So it is kind of cool that despite a crappy beginning to 2020, there are a few bright spots. Like we have One Piece heating up, we have Dragon Ball Super in the manga heating up. So there's even talks about, it's not speculation anymore, there's a new Bleach project on the way. So there are some positives, so that's kind of cool. There was no way I wasn't going to make some type of video to this. It's easily one of the best chapters of the year, bar none. And again, if you watched or read the series, you don't need to tell me how epic Death Note is. You already know. So, what I was most intrigued about is the world building we got and the new dynamics with another character being handed the Death Note. But what I like about this first, Tanaka, is a complete opposite of Light, and I think I like that more than anything else because it's a complete contrast in styles of what we got with Light, with Kira. His motivation was pretty much to like clean up the damage of all the bad people, but in the end, he wanted to play God so much it overtook him, and it ultimately became his downfall. Hits with Tanaka, but his motivations are completely different. His personality is completely different, but the way they use the Death Note is similar. So it's a weird dynamic, but I love it. Right away, we actually go into the Shinigami realm, and we see Ryuk, and he's by another Shinigami, and he's been given the Death Note, and he's like being told, I wasn't able to use this to its full potential, so here you are, Ryuk, have it back. I said, and Ryuk's like, yeah, sure, I'll take this, but you better give me something in return. He's being fed an apple. We know how important they are to Ryuk, so he just munches on them and says, I'm going into the human realm, apples, I need to have more fun, so I'm going to see if there's somebody capable of wielding this Death Note. So off he goes to the human world. We initially thought this is where he was going to meet up with Tanaka for the first time. No, turns out they met up before. So when we're at the Shinigami realm, I believe it was in 2013, but if we go into we clearly see it 2019. So first being greeted by Ryuk, and much like he wasn't surprised, and we find out why that is because he already met Ryuk. He's given the Death Note, and the moment he touches it, he regains his memories. And this was the plan of Tanaka. However, what's really interesting, and we saw this with Kira with Light, when he regained the memories, he turned the tables against L, which is probably one of the best rivalries. Here, I was like, okay, who's he feuding with this time? And the only thing that makes sense, we know Nia was on the front cover. So I'm like, this is going to be a showdown between the two. So I can't wait to see what goes up down here. But no, we found out that Tanaka has no motivation to use the Death Note. In fact, he does the complete opposite. Tanaka isn't really all that smart. He has a high IQ, but he doesn't want to apply himself because he's falling down in grades and whatnot. Then the Death Note falls, drops on his head, and that's where he meets Ryuk for the first time. I was thinking the dynamic between the two is going to be so interesting because Light is so confident and he's not shy of anything. But here is the complete opposite with Tanaka. So, like I said, the contrast in styles is so unique. Also find out what kind of impact Kira had on the world after he died, after Light died. Tanaka is well aware of who Kira was. In fact, everybody knows who Kira was. It even had Light in textbooks, in history classes, to like some view him as a complete psycho who just committed mass murder. And there's other people of the public that actually view him as God, which, if you remember, that was Light's goal. He was like, I will become the new God of this world. So it's kind of cool. Some revere him that way. So Tanaka's been introduced to Death Note, how to use it, and Ryuk is pointing out if you try to do the same thing that Kira did back when he had the Death Note, you'll be caught out because the FBI, the government, they've evolved quite a bit, and that's true compared to what we last saw in Death Note. Like, you have even the involvement in social media and Twitter, which is ironic, but it's all incorporated here. So there's cameras everywhere, so there's no way they wouldn't see this coming again. So they'll be prepared. But then Ryuk pretty much says, I'm sure Kira would have come up with a way, even in these circumstances. With one quirk of Tanaka is like he goes very quiet for a while he's thinking. He doesn't really say anything. In fact, he spent 4 hours not talking while he was conjuring up a way to use the Death Note, but without actually getting himself caught with it in these circumstances. Flat out says, I'm going to return the Death Note, come back in 2 years to give me back the memories, and then we can work something out. So he's going to use that 2 years to try and figure out a plan. Find out he's going to sell the Death Note on pretty much online, which if that happened today, I can only imagine how much that price would be. Just point out, I'm not going to use the net because we find out he has no interest in using the Death Note or killing people, which is a complete opposite of Light, like I mentioned. Pawns it off to a news station, I believe it's Sakura TV, to like broadcast the fact that Death Note is back and it's being up for auction. So if you want it, come get it. So everybody's buzzing about this. There's a bidding war going on, not just with certain individuals, with countries as well, which is crazy. One of the detectives, members of the FBI, who was working on the Kira investigation, we get to see him again. He sees Ryuk and he sees the Death Note, and he's trying to put a stop to this, and unfortunately it ends up backfiring. You get the highest bidding war was about $3 billion, then it goes way up to about $1 trillion. So we see two FBI escorts, FBI agents of Nia, and we see Nia's wearing a Shinigami mask of Ryuk. I thought it was kind of funny. It's like he has L tendencies, like the way he was acting, but we do get to see Nia, and we knew his hair was longer just because of the front cover, but it's cool to see him in this capacity going on with the Death Note, and he's like, hey Kira, we need to find him ASAP, but he hasn't committed any crimes yet, so we can't really penalize him for anything. Who started the bidding war is already in Japan, so he already figured that out, so that's pretty cool. This is when Matsuda, the next time Ryuk promotion for the Death Note to propel the bidding war, Matsuda comes in and he actually tries to put a stop to it, and this is where he gets ejected. So it sucks, that's the only role he has, but nonetheless it's cool they actually had him doing something. I'm saying this is getting interesting, and then while the bidding war is going on, we see 2 panels of Donald Trump as the president making a statement about this the United States will buy the power of Kira for $500 billion. So he's going for the Death Note to get it out of to make sure no other countries use it against them. So talk about art imitating life. I can only imagine that's exactly what would happen in today's day and age if that would be the case. So then he ups the ante by $2 trillion and never use it for world peace. So so then they talk about having a summit with all the world leaders to discuss how to handle the situation with the Death Note. And then ironically we see a panel of the US president bids 1 quadrillion yen in power of Kira's auction, which is trending #1 trending online, which I find so ironic because it's Death Note that's trending online now. You need to be able to track the bank account, so that will leave an opening. But it seems like Tanaka already thought of this, and he actually thought of a way to like divide the money in Japan. So that's kind of smart on the part of Tanaka to think of that. Then surprisingly, I don't know about anybody else, but this surprised the hell out of me. Corpse, Amoniya Justin approached Ryuk, and you need to go back to the Shinigami realm, and Ryuk's like, why? And it's like the Shinigami King is calling for us, and it's pretty much to do with the fact that Ryuk is allowing the Death Note to be sold. Cool. I think he's been addressed before, but it's kind of cool we're getting this detail again, just to remind a few people that may have forgotten. So then we find out that the Death Note has been sold to the Americans. Go figure. So, and then this is where his plan kind of backfires unintentionally, because his mother, Tanaka's mother, comes in, and it's like, you might want to check your bank account because now we're rich because of this. 1 billion yen per person. Can you imagine if this actually happened? Like the amount the Death Note would get online, and then just dividing that into between an entire country. That's essentially what Tanaka did. So that is completely the opposite of what Light would have done. He was willing to kill family members, not just to get caught out. So here, Tanaka, he didn't even want to use the Death Note. He just wanted to find a creative way of using it without actually writing inside it. And that's what he did, but still, it does end up backfiring. Kind of surprising, where we had Nia actually say, as the first time, as the replacement of L, I must admit defeat because he can't track the bidder, he can't track the killer. So he's like, I have to admit defeat. So that's huge. Remember that. By the way, I might be the only one here, but when I saw Nia trying to come up with ways to like counteract the new killer or Tanaka, I cannot be the only one who had Nia's theme, the OS soundtrack in my head playing while I was reading these panels. Like, Tanaka gets a cut of the money, and he's like, go ahead, take this Death Note to the president. I don't need this anymore. I did what I needed to do. I don't want you to come near me anymore. You see Ryuk, and this is a panel it won't be forgotten anytime soon in 2020. We see the White House, and we see Ryuk meet the President Donald Trump. If only that would have happened in real life. A new rule has been added to the Death Note, and this is what screws over Tanaka, because a human that buys or sells the Death Note will instantly die. Also, I'm curious if that's what the Shinigami King did. So it looks like that's the case, and I'd love to get more about the Shinigami realm, because it lose all that money, but you would never get it back. But in exchange, you would get to keep your life. So Donald Trump, and then Ryuk's like, you value your own life over the country, but I'm going to announce that I've gained the power of killer. I've got to, and the reason for it is because it'll make it like a saint in the public's eyes. Wow, does this, like I said, does this cut close to home or what when it comes to political endeavors? I can't think this is too far from the truth. Tanaka ends up passing out. He dies from a heart attack, the very similar way that Kira Light died. But this is a one shot. But then Ryuk's dialogue is like, isn't there anybody else that could use the Death Note a little bit longer to make this more interesting? So I don't know. Are we going to get anything else? I doubt it, but I mean, we've already been proven. Never say never. But I just thought that was an interesting bit of dialogue there. What was a marvelous 87-page chapter of Death Note. It is a one-shot, but like I said, there's certain things in this chapter that you think, there's more things they could expand here. They give us pretty much the closure of Light. Like I said, I thought it would have been really cool if they actually introduced like other characters in the original series, like Misa. That would have been kind of cool for a cameo. But either way, it was a masterpiece to read. I wouldn't have missed this for anything. So that's going to do it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Like this review if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks, guys. Bye.